Hello guys, Sethonan here on the Daily Grind. This is Command and Conquer Rivals, and I'm going to show you today some of my matches for the Node faction that I had yesterday. I'm on my way to Tiberium League with Node. I have stopped playing with GDI. I'm only going to do my dailies from now on. I don't see the point of trying to fight for a better ranking when all my units are under leveled, and it's been very difficult for me trying to reach Tiberium League because Masters 1 is full of people with level 11 or 12 units. I'm going to request more tank shards, and I'm going to give you the replays right now. As you can see, I have been slipping down on the Tiberium League, even though I still have the 3,700 medals needed to be on Tiberium. I haven't been able to win for the past day, so I'm still ranking down. That's not a lot of players. There are maybe 1,500 players ranking on Tiberium League at most, maybe 2,000. So it's a very small player sample. So they were all, well, not all of them, but I got several challenge matches.
Warning. Challenge battle initiated.
And what is cool, more than a deck, I would recommend to you once you reach once you reach Masters League, I would recommend to you that you pay attention to who you are playing. This guy I had already played in the past, and I had a pretty good idea of what he was going to do, and that is obviously going to be even more important if you reach Tiberium League.
Unit ready.
I was expecting, I'm going to switch to just what I was able to see. I was expecting a rush, and starting with Rifleman for both Node and GDI allows you to switch easily to other type of counters like this. I already expected a double harvester strategy, so I anticipated that and then charged against him. It's important when you see a General Solomon or General Jackson, it's important that you have the ability to put pressure on the harvester, because those are usually heavy tech decks that if you leave unattended, like for example he tried to rush me with a Kodiak, but I prioritized getting the launch pads instead. If you allow this type of decks to prolong the match, it doesn't matter if you win or lose the first missile. What really matters is that you shouldn't allow them to gather Tiberium to buy their heavy units. You have to put pressure on them, force them to spend Tiberium faster than you are spending it. That's what people usually call, I'm on this side now. Now for Node, the usual rush is using the bikes. So I was expecting this. This is why I built my laser guys. So I noticed that there are several, what are they called? Scarabs. Several scarab units. So I have to go for cheap units, and that's one of the reasons that my decks are still featuring Riflemen because that's pretty much the only way to deal with the scarabs. You have to have cheap units that come out fast, that are not super slow, and you have to cycle them around. This was a contest of trying to get the paths faster. The longer you allow a deck that starts with the scarabs is probably going to go. Now I know that he was going to go for basilisks or maybe cyborgs and rockworms. So you have to play fast, you have to keep the pressure on the pads so they are not able to gather Tiberium to pay for this type of units. So I have found that another viable strategy is to go directly pressure the base, rush the base while you keep some units to charge the pad behind, because that way you're also putting pressure on the enemy. You have to force him to spend Tiberium trying to counter your units, and once you see what type of units they have out, then you can plan accordingly. In this case I wasn't expecting the rocket guys, but that allowed me, having the Banshee out, to see that he started training spiders. So I had to go tanks, and at this point I decided to go full Banshee and tanks, because what was following, it was probably going to be Basilisk, and this proves my point. But I have the pad almost fully charged, so I have to just keep contesting the pads no matter how, and win the pads.
Defense online. Unit ready.
Scorpion tank ready to strike.
And I think he won this one, and this made it very difficult for me. Yes, he won the second message. That made it very difficult for me, because my only option was to keep pressuring the harvesters, make him expend all that extra Tiberium that he has. Just notice that he hasn't been able to put pressure on my own harvester, so I have to get rid of the enemy harvester and make him expend way more Tiberium than I have available. That's something that not even contesting pads is going to do. If they have both harvesters out and they are not losing units, then they will be able to overcome you with heavy tech if you don't have the tech available. For example, a good counter for this would have been a Kodiak Hammerhead combo to get rid of bikes, get rid of the bikes and get rid of the basilisks, and probably charge against the base, rush the base once you have your units in the air. These were mostly challenge battles because of unknown enemy units. That is something that also helps you predict what kind of unit they are going to pull off. Before I unlocked General Jackson and the Scarabs, this was a hint. It meant that if they had the Scarabs in their deck, it was going to be a challenge battle, so it also helps you to plan accordingly. Even if you already have certain units. For example, my account is now level 46 and I just unlocked the Scarabs and Jackson. I'm almost level 47, so now a challenge battle that lists unknown units is going to be forcibly something with Kodiaks, Basilisk, Juggernauts, and other heavy tech. So I know that if I get a challenge battle on unknown units, then it's going to be a heavy tech deck if it is a challenge battle. Normal battles are more difficult to assess because they can be anything. If you get, you can get a mirror match, but with super high level enemy units, that is going to be very very difficult to overcome. I went exploring. Oh, I didn't. Who the fog of war? I hadn't noticed that he didn't have a harvester. He was just trying to, I think, hoping to kill my harvester. So I decided at this point that I was going to rush the base fully and just defend what I could on my own base. I was going to outrun even the scarabs were not going to come out fast enough to prevent me from destroying the base. And that's why even if you are winning, you have to go put pressure and scout what they are doing. And for last on today's videos, a loss that was a loss because I allowed this guy to take up even though I was winning and I was rushing the base. I stopped putting pressure on the harvesters, and in the final stages of the match I just wasn't able to contest the paths because I'm lacking the units that are needed to do this. Now, for some reason, you're going to see some pretty stupid stuff going on my side of the screen. You can even accelerate the video and put the Yakety Sax soundtrack to it, because I'm running circles behind this guy because I didn't want to keep building militia that was not going to be helpful. And my militia for some reason stops chasing the enemy, but I'm still charging the paths. So I get the first missile, and then I lose the second and the third. That much I remember. I have nothing out. For example, at this point I have nothing out, so I decide to go harass the base to win some time. If anybody tells me that unit level doesn't matter, then you can see how that level 10 Orca just basically ignores my laser guys and is able to finish the harvester pretty quickly. And it's at this point that I lose. Once he's able to get one tech unit out, without being I don't know, without showing off, I made a good attempt at controlling this guy, like countering his I don't recall the name of the unit. It was called Prison Tank in some other Red Alert, some other Command and Conquer game. I think it was from Red Alert. But this is too tough. I will have needed either a Kodiak to be able to trade efficiently versus the Sandstorm, or higher level rocket guys, because I'm just not able to put enough pressure. Look, I was about to win the match, and then suddenly I'm just not able to put enough pressure on this guy, and it goes on and on and on, and we trade units back and forth, and ultimately because I neglected to go punish his harvester, he is just able to muscle in and take both paths several times over, because he has the cash flow needed to sustain his army this way. and this was really me playing very very badly. I just don't. It's also me not having really a deck capable of countering this particular combo. This is something that is going to happen to you eventually. I'm so focused on trying to get rid of the sandstorm that, for example, here I could have moved the Banshee over to that lone prison tank
Right, attack by phase.
instead of trying to headbutt my way through a couple of sandstorms. I don't have a Sidon, I don't have the Shockwave Troopers, the Zone Troopers I mean, who would have been better choices to counter this. But this is why it's important that if you're running an aggro deck, you should never stop pressuring the harvester. You should never allow the other guy to take up, because once they take up, you are just not going to win with a simple aggro deck. And as you can see, the levels are mostly the same. So his Sandstorm is basically a level 10 Sandstorm, so it's a full level above mine. But everything else trades completely. Once you allow the tech decks to take up, it's impossible to stop them if you're running a basic aggro deck like mine. Now, all things considered, this little deck that I'm rocking with Kane and the 3 basic infantry units and just bikes, a tank, and a Banshee, that's the deck that has taken me from the Iron League all the way to Masters 1, and I'm about to reach Tiberium with this. I also run that very same deck with the GDI counterpart. This is something I'm experimenting on, changing this around, but my main army is this for GDI. Rifles, rockets, shockwaves, the Pitbull, the Predator tank, and the Orca. And I'm already prepared to go to full gear 10 with GDI. I just need the cards. I already have the money saved to upgrade at least 4 units at once I have the cards needed to do it. But you can play the whole game. This is a full aggro deck. You can change the commander, but I just can't get used to using Dr. Liang, and I think the skill for General Solomon is too expensive for what it does, and it's very situational, and you have to pretty much predict where the enemy is going to be. And of course, I just unlocked Jackson, and he is basically unusable for me because he's just level 3, and that would make my harvesters paper thin and my base very easy to rush. So I'm just waiting until I can get Jackson to at least level 9 before I attempt something else. I'm on my way to level 10 Predator tank. I want to get that tank already. And as you can see, I'm already on my way also to level 47, and I just need a little less than 200 medals enough to reach Tiberium. So even if my videos, if my content are not very showy, that's because that's the style I like to play. I'm not very keen on moving the units around too much. I prefer to play ahead of my opponent, and for me it's the only way to actually learn how to play these games correctly, because if you can't predict what the other guy is going to do, reacting is not always a good strategy. It helps, but it also requires you to have a very flexible combination of units Be it in this game or in any other game, you have the knowledge of matchups to build up a Counter-Strike force for everything else, and that's not my style of play. Well, this was Command and Conquer for the road to Tiberium. I'm completely free to play. I started on the global launch. I didn't play the beta, so I don't have all the other units. Let's say I'm playing as I should play, or as any new player is going to face stuff without all the units unlocked. So there are several. Like I have recently seen videos from other content creators where they recommend the Kodiak. Well, for me, the Kodiak is a pipe dream still, because I am 3 levels away from being able to get the Kodiak through the crates. So it's not, and also even if I unlock the Kodiak, let's say if I unlock it tomorrow, as an example, because that's not going to be possible, I will still have to bring that Kodiak to at least level 9 before I'm able to actually use that unit. With that said, because I'm getting phone calls already for work, I leave you and I invite you to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you feel like it, and we'll be seeing each other next time. And in the meantime, keep grinding on.